Today was the official opening of our school, attended by the Vice-Chancellor and many guests who contributed to the development of our school, from builders to the designers, including Peter, who flew over from Australia to be with us, not only for the opening of the school, but also the launch of our first contribution to the field of education that's linked with universities.
The origins of the school go back to about 2011. At the time, I happened to be the head of faculty, newly appointed, and the university approached us to ask us whether we would work with them, to design and build and conceive the pedagogy for a primary school. And we saw this as an opportunity for the faculty, and the university saw it as an opportunity for the faculty to put a distinctive marker in the area of primary education.
We wanted to try and capture the process of opening up a new school, and our school has a unique character in that it's one of the first university training schools in the country, providing essentially a brilliant primary education for children, developing initial teacher education with the faculty, and developing a research-informed community. And I thought it would be a missed opportunity not to capture the challenges, the bumps, the joys, all the pitfalls, all those things that come when you're trying to create a new thing in a new community that doesn't exist yet.
There are, from memory,
three sections, isn't it?
Yes, it's 3 sections basically. The first section really documents the origins of the university's development out here, and it carries the title of A Primary School at the Heart, or a subtitle to that effect. So that really documents all of the sort of ruminations and what have you on how this development came to be. The next chapter, which is one that I've written, is about the approval process. And then the third chapter flowed nicely into the design of the school, where Kathy Burke and Alison Peacock and Julia Barfield talked about how the concept, how the school moved from being a concept to a physical space. Then we segue, and I think that's the word, to James, who can tell us about the second main section.
The second main section is we created a new building, a distinctive design, principled on research, on a new development. But a school is more than the bricks and mortar. So in the second section, we tried to explore and explain how we bring life into a new space. And the cover of the book it's called "And the Children Bring the Colour." It's really about the children bringing the colour into the kind of blank canvas. And so in my chapter, we talked about, and I brought other voices, my colleagues also who contributed to that, talked about the challenge of creating a vision and ethos and making it a reality. And then following that, Alison Peacock also contextualised the school in a wider landscape of education, to try and identify what the school could do that goes beyond the remit of a primary school as a university training school.
David and Penny, who've had great experience in that area, excuse me, looked at the possibilities for aligning the reception and early years with the nursery and surveyed the research in this area. So that kind of knitted those 3 together. And then we went into the third section, which was where we were concentrating on research and the wider possibilities, professional learning for teachers. So we've got a chapter on Finland, because the Secretary of State, who at the time, Michael Gove, first mentioned the idea of university training schools, he had Finland in mind, and the faculty had a group go to Finland to look at their training schools. So one of our Finnish authors in Finland, who hosted that visit, and one of our local staff members here who's Finnish, they put together a chapter on that. The last 3 chapters, the first of those was looking at the traditions within the faculty that go way back in working in partnership with schools. So Ken Rutherford wrote a chapter on that, and so that this effort here to work closely with the profession and the school is the latest of a long line of building links with schools. The final 2 chapters look at the area of what's called in the trade as evidence-based practice or evidence-informed practice. Now there's a movement, I suppose it's the best way to put this, but there's been a movement for this for a number of years in various guises around the globe. And we've been, in our negotiations with the government, we made sure that we tried to predicate what we would, or base what we were doing on a research evidence base. So that's discussed in the second last chapter. The final chapter builds on that and looks at wider professional learning and links to the new college, Royal College of Teachers. We're hoping will become a Royal College. It's a College of Teaching at the moment. And of course, Alison Peacock is going to be the first CEO of that. So there's a kind of there's a neatness there in linking with that, because it will be, the research output of this school, we anticipate, will be able to feed into one of the activities of the college, which will be the drafting of standards of accomplishment for teachers. After that, we've just got a couple of final bits and pieces. We were conscious all the time that there is another university training school in Birmingham, which is secondary, and so we arranged for me to do an interview with Mike Roden, who's the principal of the school there. James has completed the conclusion, and then the Vice-Chancellor has done a small afterwards. So there's a kind of structure and flow, which starts off at the sort of helicopter level, I suppose, gets down into the detail of the school, and then comes out again into the contribution and impact and outcomes.
I think essentially what we're trying to do in this book is say that, making things better for children is more than one school in one area of the country. It requires a professional voice. It requires teachers to work together in collaboration with academics and researchers and businesses and other partners to demonstrate what is possible. Our strapline is releasing the imagination, celebrating the art of the possible, and this book tries to capture that and say that it's more than just me in a school and in this new district in Cambridge. It's about trying to make something different by creating a professional voice that can, with evidence informed practice, actually make a difference. And so therefore I think it's valuable for teachers. It would be valuable for anyone wanting to open a new school.
Yes, it's. I think this is a very useful case study. It tells the story about the school itself, but it has wider significance because it really says to people, look, if you're interested in building a school from a blank sheet of paper and a bare plot of ground, which is what we literally started with here back in 2011, and I remember we came out in 2014 in the middle of a horrible day in November when there was just dirt and mud, and so that if you're going to start from that, if you've got an idea, this case study of this school gives you an idea of what you've got to do if you're going to get it right. If you're going to build an institution, the kinds of collaboration and engagement collectively amongst a whole armoury of people, both practitioners and academics and policymakers and what have you, it really does show what it is possible to achieve if you do it properly.
I mean, the Vice-Chancellor said in his last paragraph, at first glance this is a book about teaching children in one community in the east of England, but the work undertaken in these classrooms will inform our research, and the ideas that emerge from this school will be shared across the world and will, we hope, help to improve educational opportunities in many other communities. I think he kind of synthesises that beautifully.